he was asked about his favorite women's basketball player. Listen to this.
Who's your favorite women's basketball player?
Caitlin Clark.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't like Paige Bueckers?
No. She's okay. I didn't see her playing the women's NBA, so.
She just got drafted.
#1.
Dallas.
He used to play in Dallas, which is where Paige Bueckers plays.
A reputable basketball publication, Bleacher Report, stating that Paige Bueckers led the nation in assists twice in her college career. She has been top 15 once. She was 63rd last year when she led the nation assists. Now, Georgia Amor, who had more assists than Paige, did not lead the nation assists as well. It is literally the media just lying. They are literally just lying.
When it comes to leading the conversation in women's sports, one name stands above all others: Caitlin Clark.
In her final year at Virginia Tech, she averaged 6.8 assists per game and then led the nation.
Not only is it eradicating Caitlin Clark, it's eradicating Serena Sundell. Like, if you look at Paige Bueckers' seasons, or if you look at last season, Serena Sundell averaged 0.4 assists more than Georgia Amor, but nearly 3 assists more than Paige Bueckers.
She hasn't just made an impact, she completely shattered expectations, breaking records in attendance, merchandise sales, trading cards, and TV ratings. But some people still haven't caught on.
There's another trading card that sold for an absurd amount of money. You'd have to pay $244,000 to have gotten that card.
Recently, Luka Doncic made it absolutely clear without hesitation: Paige Bueckers isn't even in the same league as Caitlin Clark.
Let's get to Luka Doncic, who of course plays for the Lakers now after having been traded. Who's your favorite women's basketball player? Caitlin Clark. You don't like Paige Bueckers? Quote, shrugs. She's okay. Haven't seen her play in the WNBA, so, and when he sees her play in the WNBA, he won't be that impressed either.
His brutally honest comment sent shockwaves through the basketball world. While the media keeps trying to force fake comparisons and old school critics rush to tear Clark down, one thing remains certain: the future of women's basketball belongs to her.
When it comes to motion, when it comes to moving the needle, we all know the one that does that in women's sports, and that is Caitlin Clark. She continues to set ridiculous numbers all over the place.
If you're a real Caitlin Clark fan and can't wait to see her dominate again next season, type 100% in the comments so we can notice you and keep making more content for you.
And this is from Bleacher Report, ranking the rookies by a WNBA expert. This is just lying.
Their season, she's been flirting with 4 assists. And this past season, she also led the nation in assists with 4.6 assists.
So Paige Bueckers led the nation in assists with 4.6 assists per game. She was 63rd. So when Caitlin Clark was still in college, and Caitlin was 2 entire assists ahead of second place, and Georgia Amor was 4th.
Not only do I not think Paige is going to move the needle, I don't think she's going to flutter it. I don't think it's going to vibrate slightly.
When Luka Doncic was asked who his favorite women's basketball player is, he didn't hesitate. His answer was Caitlin Clark. No long explanation, no carefully crafted response, just a straight, honest answer: Caitlin Clark.
Why hasn't Middle America given Paige Bueckers the Caitlin Clark treatment?
Paige Bueckers is woke as hell. She's gonna come into the league and join the WNBA activism. She's probably not gonna be embraced over that because we are sick of it.
Luka, one of the biggest global basketball stars today, didn't feel the need to sugarcoat it. Real recognizes real, and when it comes to talent, impact, and star power, Caitlin Clark is in a league of her own.
2020-21 season, when she said Paige led the NCAA in assists, it was Aleta, and Caitlin was 3rd with 7.8 assists per game. Paige averaged 5, and I think she was 15th.
Luka's reaction revealed a harsh truth. Despite the media buzz, Paige Bueckers hasn't proven anything at the pro level. She was a college star, sure, but the WNBA is a whole new challenge. Luka's lack of interest said everything that needed to be said.
If you look at all these seasons, first season Paige was 15. The second season Paige played, Caitlin Clark led the NCAA in assists with 8 assists per game. Paige did not play in 22-23, and in 23-24, Caitlin Clark is 2.1 entire assists ahead of Georgia Amor, who she said led NCAA in assists.
Even more telling, the people who really understand basketball, players, coaches, and serious fans, Don't expect Paige to dominate the league like Caitlin has.
I thought Paige Bueckers was a star. I thought Paige Bueckers was the secondary great white hope. It didn't matter who Caitlin Clark was playing, and the game would be headline news. That is what's missing in women's college basketball this season.
Luka's honest reaction wasn't petty or mean. It was a rare, unfiltered glimpse into how real hoopers view these players. Caitlin Clark isn't just better. She's a game changer who's already reshaping the WNBA. Meanwhile, Paige still has everything to prove, and if Luka's instincts are right, her first season might not live up to the hype, while Luka kept it real. Some in the media seem desperate to build a rivalry that simply isn't there.
Basically, Wings GM conveys key difference in Paige Bueckers and Caitlin Clark's rookie season. He said the one thing when you talk about last season is that Paige won't have the benefit that Caitlin did. And this is nothing against Caitlin, but we had an Olympic break last year. So you got to see some players take a month-long break, essentially. And those rookies were coming off a grueling season in the collegiate game. They got a break and got to reset and finish strong. This draft class, which includes Paige, is not going to have that luxury. We don't have a big break where they can almost catch a second win and then push to the finish line in the second half of the season, he continued. So we have to watch this rookie class around the league about load management. It's not just our rookies. We're all going to be tuned in to load management, especially these rookies that played long into their collegiate season. I didn't really see any of the benefit that Caitlin Clark got coming into the season.
Recently, Kurt Miller, a respected figure in the league, gave an interview where he awkwardly compared Paige Bueckers' upcoming rookie season to Caitlin Clark's, and let's just say, it left a lot of people confused. According to Miller, Paige won't have the same advantage that Caitlin allegedly had during her rookie year, because that season included an Olympic break that gave players a full month to rest.
We want to see Caitlin Clark and we want to see Paige Bueckers.
Caitlin scored more points per game, but Paige was more efficient.
Paige Bueckers has had one of the best careers in the history of women's college basketball. On paper, you can make the case that Paige Bueckers has better college career than Caitlin Clark. But this is the world of television, where you're not judged based on your accomplishments, you're not judged based on your stats, you're judged based on your drawing power. And looking at these ratings for the women's tournament, it is abundantly clear Paige Bueckers might be a star, but she's not a draw.
These two were the topic of conversation. Who's the better player?
She's not nearly the player that Caitlin Clark is.
You know, she's been really disappointing this whole tournament.
We're not creating this rivalry. We're not saying they hate each other, but they are two of the best in the game right now.
At first, that might sound like a fair point, but once you dig deeper, it falls apart. Caitlin Clark didn't enter the WNBA fresh and relaxed. She ended her college career by carrying Iowa to the national title game while facing massive pressure and media hype all season. Less than 2 weeks after playing in the most watched and called women's basketball game ever, she was at the WNBA draft. A few days later, she was in fever training camp, no vacation, no downtime.
I got to be with those women up close and personal. I was in practices, I was at shoot-arounds, I was in the locker room.
That's
I was doing
great experience, though. So you was able to get a real close view of what it was like to be a WNBA player at that time.
Yeah, and it was like not glamorous at all, but I was a kid, so to me, I thought it was like the most amazing thing ever.
Right.
But when you have conversations with like Taj and stuff like that, they're like, that's was a mess. It was ghetto, it was bad, it was a mess. Yeah. But we still talk about like how the league was like 6-7 years ago. We have like things like, I can't believe we was doing this. We was sharing rooms.
No, we was definitely sharing rooms. I was just telling Natalie and Tom, I was like, bro, we really was sharing rooms and you was talking in your sleep before games. Like you literally even know that. You was talking in your sleep.
People had to leave room to get on FaceTime with their
boo. You gotta leave out the room.
Sitting in the lobby at midnight.
She didn't get a proper, relaxed training camp like this year's rookies will. She was thrown straight into the fire and expected to carry a struggling Indiana Fever team. With the weight of national attention on her back, she had to handle pro-level basketball and carry a league that desperately needed a star. Still, Caitlin thrived. She led the league in assists, broke rookie records, and sold out arenas. She didn't need rest. She delivered with once-in-a-generation talent and willpower. Saying she had an Olympic break advantage, that's not just wrong, it's an excuse.
So basically, we know Natalie Esquire, a serial hater when it comes to the Caitlin Clark fan base. She's pretty much a driving force behind a lot of the drama that takes place in the media.
You have other people like Sabrina Whitaker. You have so many people out there, and people like this, the committee, which is, a group of really, really strong women's basketball fans on Twitter. They have influence. Dawn Staley flew 2 members of the committee to South Carolina's opening game in Paris, okay?
So they're calling old guard WNBA fans the committee. These are the same people that is pushing race narratives. These are the same people that is bashing Caitlin Clark. These are the people she's talking about.
It's an early attempt to lower the bar for Paige Bueckers, in case she doesn't perform at the elite level Caitlin did. But the truth is, there's no real comparison in terms of impact. Caitlin Clark is the breakout WNBA superstar, the one who drew new fans, filled arenas, and smashed TV records. Paige Bueckers, despite her college success, hasn't even played a real WNBA game yet, and once she does, the only thing that'll matter is how she performs, not hype or carefully crafted storylines.
The hate in Natalie Esquire heart is so strong, LOL. She said this in 4 different ways for absolutely no reason. NBC, at Indiana Fever, we don't want her covering America's team. Natalie Esquire said only one is super problematic, emo, in my experience, and based on listening to what has been said and reported on all year, it's a common theme. I only get harassed to endure racism, receive threatening emails, DMs from one fan base. So yes, it's one. It can apply in all of sports, but there is a notable difference in one fan base with respect to the W. This tweet said, no, it's one. It's not allegedly. This is my experience, and it only comes from a specific set of fans. So yes, for me, it's one fan base. You've already heard a player say in her career she's never experienced anything like this. Stop trying to violate our experience.
No Olympic break, no load management, no distractions. Either you make an impact or you don't. Caitlin Clark didn't just move the needle, she broke it off completely. Now it's on Paige to prove she belongs in that conversation. And if the early signs are accurate, like her debut game not selling out and generating little buzz, it's clear the media's comparisons are already falling flat. Caitlin earned her spotlight with dominance, not hype. No PR spin will change that. And while Caitlin changes the game, a battle brews off the court.
All they can think to do is infer, insinuate racism. Just claim racism. Ratings explode.
A lot of Caitlin Clark fans, and so many of them are not white. It's just insulting to assume that that's the case to the people that aren't white, to the Black Americans that do love Caitlin Clark.
Eaton Thomas contrasts how white Americans view the two based on stark differences in speaking out against racial injustice. Quote, perhaps it's because unlike Clark, Bueckers has always been outspoken about issues off the court, Thomas wrote in a Guardian article. At the 2021 ESPYs, Bueckers was named the College Athlete of the Year. She used her acceptance speech to celebrate and honor Black women in particular. In Bueckers' famous ESPYs speech, she used her platform to recognize those who didn't get the same recognition as her, specifically highlighting Black women. While Black America cheered Bueckers, it seemed like mainstream white America, a demographic once viewed her as, in her words, a media darling, weren't signaling out her praises. Is it a coincidence, or maybe because her injuries have made people forget her greatness as an athlete? But she's back from injury, and now why are people focused on Bueckers as they were Clark last year when she was tearing up college basketball? Maybe if Bueckers had delivered a more vanilla ESPY speech, things would be different. This is a completely embarrassing article. Caitlin Clark is a worldwide phenomenon whose playing style has drawn a level of hype that hasn't been seen in basketball in a decade.
One of the most obvious examples is Natalie Esquire, a longtime WNBA media figure now surrounded by controversy. She's known for constantly criticizing Caitlin Clark and the new wave of fans she's brought in. She often blames Clark's fan base for harassment in WNBA circles. But without realizing it, Natalie revealed the deeper issue. It's not about basketball, it's about control. Before Caitlin, women's basketball was a tight-knit bubble. Writers and bloggers called the shots, but with Clark came new fans, NBA crossover interest, and new opinions. The gatekeepers lost their grip and didn't like it. Creators like John Liquidator and Rich Lotta only widened that gap. They answered the fans, Not old media rules, and the fans are listening.
The second chapter of the Caitlin Clark era in the WNBA will commence soon. Clark established herself as a superstar in her rookie season with the Indiana Fever and will now lead a championship hopeful team into year 2. However, before the season begins, Clark was involved in a major news headline that featured a 6-figure price tag. Clark's edition of the 2024 Piani Prism WNBA Throwback Signatures Golden Vinyl Card has been officially sold.
YouTube channels focused on Caitlin Clark and the WNBA's new era are racking up millions of views, far outpacing the traditional media. That's the real resentment. It's not just about Clark's success, it's about losing the system that used to control the narrative. Some media voices even tried using race to attack Caitlin, claiming her rise sidelines black players or alters the league's culture. They weaponized social issues to paint her as harmful instead of groundbreaking. But here's the truth. Caitlin didn't steal anyone's shine. She built her own. She didn't block doors. She opened them wider than ever. Attendance is up. TV ratings are booming. Sponsorships are rising, and it's mostly thanks to Caitlin Clark. Still, some people are obsessed with tearing her down. Natalie Esquire and others are clinging to old talking points and petty grudges, even as they hurt the very league they say they love. Caitlin is the future, and that's what scares them.
There's an Angel Reese card out there right now that's on eBay that somebody has a ridiculous price on, and it's just been sitting there forever. It's collecting dust.
The light that I have now as a white woman who leads a black-led sport and celebrated here, I want to show a light on black women. They don't get the media coverage that they deserve. They've given so much to this sport and the community and society as a whole, and their value is undeniable. The WNBA last season, the postseason awards, 80% of the winners were black, but they got half the coverage as the white athletes. So I think it's time for change. Sports media holds the key to storylines. Sports media and sponsors tell us who is valuable, and you have told the world that I matter today, and everyone who voted, thank you. But I think we should use this power together to also celebrate black women.
Don't you realize these black girls all paved the road that she's traveling, that these black women built the WNBA, that these black women carried women's basketball, and now all the racists love women's basketball because they're racist and they have Caitlin Clark. Just not true.
The irony is, while they're busy nitpicking and creating controversy, Caitlin Clark just keeps working. She keeps winning. Her game speaks louder than their noise. Meanwhile, the old guard isolates itself from the new audience, the one they desperately need. They're stuck in the past, while Caitlin and her fans are building what's next. And here's the bottom line. No matter how loud the hate gets, no matter how many cheap shots are thrown, none of it can stop what's happening. Caitlin Clark has already changed the sport, and she's just getting started. The truth can't be spun. She's the face of women's basketball now. Luka Doncic said it without flinching. Caitlin's the real deal. The media can keep pushing Paige Bueckers, keep stirring things up, but fans know who's actually making history. The old narratives are crumbling. The gatekeepers are fading. The future, it's Caitlin Clark's. And for the fans who believe in real talent, not fake hype, it's your moment to stay loud, stay proud, because the more they try to bring her down, the higher she'll rise. If you're riding with Caitlin Clark and can't wait to see her take over next season, type 100% in the comments right now and let the world know who's really moving the needle.